Among the activities putting a spotlight on women's history this month is an event happening tomorrow. To tell us about the tea and award ceremony being held by the Boston Women's Historical Society is its executive director, Patrice Gattozzi. Thank you very much for being with us, Patrice.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be
Now,
here.
you've been doing this, for 6 years now with this event?
This will be our 6th year, every March for the last 6 years.
So what made it come together the first time?
Well, I learned about 2 women that had lived in Hyde Park, the Grimke sisters, Angelina and Sarah Grimke, and they were extraordinary women who had been abolitionists, and they were fighting for the women's right to vote. And so I thought we just needed to highlight them. I was working as the executive director at Hyde Park Main Streets at the time, and I thought we need to celebrate that. And I looked around and said, are there any women events happening during Women's History Month? And I found very little. So I said, let's start one. And so the first year we did a series of movies and tea. And we learned about different women, and it was fun. But the next year we said, let's do something special and really make a big event. And we have Hyde tea. We've been doing that again for 6 years. It'll be our 6th year tomorrow. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, many neighborhoods in Boston have their historians who know these things, but I imagine you discovered some things that many of your neighbors probably didn't know.
Well, we've been still working on it, but we have found that the women in Hyde Park have been organizing for a long time. There was a group of women called the Current Events Club that it was in existence for 140 years, and they did extraordinary things. They did lectures and all kinds of events for the community, and it was an organization where they could learn. A lot of times women weren't going to school back then or didn't have college educations, and so they used it as an opportunity to teach themselves and had guest speakers, and they actually they learned about investing, and they bought stocks, and they actually built a building in Hyde Park where they did all their meetings and had their events. And right now that building hosts the Menino Art Center. So they're just a sampling of some of the women that are in our history and in our neighborhood and in Boston. Boston has a lot of history of women's first. And so when we were looking around, we were just the Hyde Park Women's Celebration tea, but now we decided that we were going to become the Boston Women's Historical Society. Every neighborhood has a historical society, but as a group of women, there isn't one, so we decided to form one.
Of course, you're not just honoring people who go way back. You're talking about people who are still with us and still very active. Yeah.
Absolutely. So our tea is called Women Amongst Us, and that's where we can award 3 women each year who actually live right now and are doing amazing things that we think they're incredible. And we've given them titles to our events. We have the Grimke Award in honor of Angelina Grimke. And that's a woman who has done great things for Boston and in their field. And this year we're honoring women in the media. Last year it was women in the arts. And so we have Beverly Beckham, who's a Boston Globe reporter, a columnist, and she's worked for the Herald, and she actually has her one-woman show, a cabaret show. And so we're honoring her. We're also honoring Julie Kahn, who is an incredible woman. She's getting the Pass the Torch Award because we want to have somebody that inspires young women. And she has broken ceilings in her field. She's in the radio and media, and she has worked tirelessly with other organizations to raise money for them, like the Jimmy Fund, the Franciscan House, and Dress for Success. But she's been named one of the 50 most influential women in Boston, according to Boston Magazine. So we're honored to have her as well. And the third woman that we're honoring this tomorrow is Eleni Vidalis. We always want to honor a woman from Hyde Park, and she is a Hyde Park resident. And she has started the Greek TV show. It's the longest TV show on BNN, apparently. And so, and she just loves her community and serves her community, the Greek community worldwide. So we wanted to honor her. And, but we think that every woman sitting in that room is really worthy of honor because people are doing great things. I mean, we have a legacy, a history of legacy, but we also want to look around the room and say, what are you doing? And women love to be together. And so they can be together, we can celebrate each other as Women's History Month, but then we want to think about the future and inspire the young women of the future.
I know things are still coming together around the goals for the future, but I guess tell me a little bit about what you might be doing to have more of these extraordinary young women coming up in the future.
Right. Well, we want to do a lot more with our website. We do have a website, it's bostonwomen.org, and we want to be able to put a lot more educational information out there as well. But our hope and our goal is to create a funding source so that we can give scholarships to young women and allow them to get into the fields that they're pursuing and give them opportunity, which a lot of us didn't have. And so we really want to do that. But we're also looking to preservation. Our goal is education, preservation, and celebration, which is the T. And so those are the three main focuses that we're doing.
We should mention, if people would like some more information about what you're doing, what's the best way to find that?
They can go to bostonwomen.org, or they can email me at t@bostonwomen.org.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Patrice Gattozzi from the Boston Women's Historical Society. And up ahead, the Arts Report with Chris Harding.